Hey guys, it's Lisa here. It is lunchtime on Tuesday the 20th of November. So I am working from home today. I'm about to drive to London this evening, so I'm having my lunch break. I've got my head in a bunch of slides that I need to prep for and deliver tomorrow as part of my extended role. So yeah, I just went a bit brain dead, so I thought, right, I do need to do an upload for FlossTube. And I thought, well, while I have lunch and chill out for half an hour, I'll do a stitch with me, because I think that's probably going to be the easiest thing to do. So I am currently working on Nora Corbett. What is she? She is a Pixie Couture, so she's from the Pixie Couture collection, and this is Lily. So the last time you saw her, it was kind of around here on her dress. Not an awful lot of progress, but you know, I have progressed somewhat. So pretty much all of her dress is done, and I'm on the wing section now. So I thought, right, well, I'll just continue stitching in some wing while I'm with you today. One of the other things was, a couple of my viewers had said, oh, it would be good to see the Al Bessie lap frame in use. So I thought, right, well, I'll stitch off this today rather than get out the Monstrix sand. And to be honest, this is really all I've been using since I bought it. So this has travelled with me. Admittedly, I haven't been able to stitch a lot while I've been away, and I certainly won't be taking it with me again, because I am driving back to London this evening for another 2 days. So we'll chat about that as we go. So I am going to continue working on the wings. So I'm going to thread some floss on now. I'm not sure what colour I need, so bear with me. I'm probably going to stop the recording while I do that, because you don't want to watch me threading floss. So I'll be back in a little moment. Right, so I've threaded my needle and I'm ready to start. I've zoomed us in a little bit closer. There may be some movement off the frame, so I apologise if there's a bit of rocking. Hopefully it won't make you too seasick. So I'm just going to start stitching on the white section, but if I have it any further away, you're not going to be able to see the stitching. So I'm just going to start with the loop method. So I did print off a tag, which is called the Perfect World tag, which is another one from Mama's Losing It. I may or may not do it depending on how the actual stitch with me goes, because I do have quite a bit to talk about from what I've been doing. So apologies, I feel as though FlossTube has got neglected a little bit over the last few weeks. Obviously November was always going to be a horrible month for me from a work perspective. I'm still in the midst of it. As I just mentioned, I am driving back to London tonight. So we are, as I said, I'm presenting all day tomorrow, and then the following day is a managers meeting for all of the UK managers. So that's whether you are what we call a field-based manager, where you are sort of out, not office-based, but with your team, with customers on the ground, or whether you are actually an office manager. So it's a good opportunity to catch up with people and do a bit of networking, but it's also pretty intense as well. So I'm up on my feet all day leading a session with my peers tomorrow as part of this extra stuff that I was doing, or I am doing, and then we've got the managers meeting on Thursday, and then I'm coming home. God knows what time I'll get in on Thursday, but it calms down a bit then. So the following week I'm not away at all, although I do have all of my team's end of year reviews to do. So that's a week of work. I'm away one night the following week, which is the first week of December, because that's our managers' kind of Christmas do. And then the following week, it is our team Christmas do. So I'm away one night with my team, taking them to Leeds. So we're going to Leeds for that. So it should be good. I'll tell you a little bit more about that as we go. But yeah, so tonight I'm going to drive to London at about 6 o'clock, I think. I'll probably go about 6. Get there for 10ish, because it's about a 4-hour run on an evening. So took me 6 to get home last Friday when I came home. So I left the office at just gone 3, and I walked through the door. Well, it was after 9, so it was more than 6 hours. That was a crazy drive home. There was roadworks on the A1M, and then there'd been an accident on the southbound carriageway, so everybody who was heading north wanted to have a look, and it just caused an hour's tailback coming through the roadworks. So that was painful, but I do feel as though we're getting to an end of it now. I am pretty exhausted from all of the travelling. I feel as though my brain has expanded twice its size with all of the new information that I've had to take on, because I'm doing the lead of the key account management things, and it's not just the rollout, it's all of the bits that go with it. So I am liaising to organise room bookings, making sure everybody brings their IT equipment. You know, when you're just sending out 1,000,001 emails and you're working with an external service provider as well, so I'm communicating with him. It's crazy. And then we've had the master coach thing. So there was a group who came across from the US. So it's interesting, this master coach thing, because it's by a professor who used to, well, is obviously not alive anymore. So it's I think he was, what was he? Was he a professor of psychology? I'm not sure. His name was Chris Argyris. So you can Google him and have a look. But he was looking at, you know, people's intentions versus what they actually do in reality. So people will go off with a plan to do something. So they'll say, right, well, I'm going to have this difficult conversation with this individual. And the reality is, when they're actually there, they resort to type and don't do what they said they were going to do in the first place. And Chris was looking at the science behind this as to why people just don't do it. And it's not just in our everyday life as well. You know, these are sometimes really highly performing business people who just hit this wall and just feel as though they can't talk to people. So he looked at this kind of what he called left-hand column thinking. So it's really what you're wanting to say versus what comes out of your mouth. Obviously, you can't just say what's in this left-hand column without a filter, because obviously you'll offend people and probably mortally wound them with your words. But within reason, and providing you back up what you say with a load of what they call data in America, so with a load of data and a load of evidence to support what you're saying, it almost becomes, you know, they can't argue back. And then you're just going to ask them for the point of view. So then you'll say, well, what do you think about this? It sounds really simple in principle, but sliding back into these, what he refers to as model 1 type of behaviours, where you avoid conversations or you withhold information because you don't want to offend the other person, is really, really easy to do. And then it's not just a mindset, it's behaviours. So then under pressure, you start to fall into behaviours like you'll start to add more than one thing in, so it becomes more of an argument. So then you'll start to what they call pile stuff, and it's like, yeah, but then you do this and you do that, rather than trying to keep things logically, so people to sort of think, and then you'll start to ask leading questions. So, you know, rather you'll say things like, well, you know, what do you think you could have done to have made this go better? So straight away the individual's thinking, oh my God, I've done something wrong, rather than like, talk me through this, you know, tell me what you thought of the situation, and being a little bit more open. But I've lost my end now. But that's been, it was profoundly mind-changing, the whole process. It was quite an emotional 3 days. It was intense. I felt as though my head was buzzing. It was literally buzzing. And I know I did my weekend upload where I just sat, and that was a weekend where I just got my reindeer finished, because above and beyond that, I didn't have capacity for anything else. It was so intense. I'm just trying to thread my needle, and you know when your cotton is thread is frayed a bit, it makes it harder, doesn't it? Oh, come on. And I've got 2 ends of different lengths. Are they both through? Yeah. But yeah, the principles are really straightforward, but it's harder to do in practice than you think, because we all resort to this Model 1 type behaviour when we are under pressure or in difficult situations. It's so easy to do, and trying not to and catch that and change it across is tough. But it was amazing. I've had an amazing month, but I am exhausted, and after this week I really don't have a lot left in the gas tank, to be fair. I really don't. So that's work. So yeah, as I said, I'm driving back to London later, so I'm going to do this. It's going to mark off my stitches. Oh, I've missed two up at the top. Right, I'm going to pull this thread around. I don't normally carry to that extent, but I will be stitching over it in this bit, so it doesn't really matter. So yeah, I'm going to have this time out, have a bite to eat, and then I'm going to go and work on these slides a little bit more, pack and get in the car and drive back. So what an exciting life I lead. Life on the road. I tell you what it has been good for. It's been good for bills this month and food, and yeah, just general living expenses, because I haven't been home, so I've not been shopping in 2 or 3 weeks. Been living on what's in my freezer and things like that, so it's been much cheaper. Right, I'm just going to flip myself over, sorry, I'll go out of view. You can have a look at my fleecy pyjama sort of jacket thing here, because I'm still not dressed. How bad is that? But yeah, I literally got up this morning and got in front of the laptop, so did everything I needed to do, spoke with certain people of my team I needed to speak with. So yeah, it's what admin days are like. When people say, oh, I'm working from home, you get ideas of them sitting there doing nothing. That doesn't work like that for me. I work harder than usual when I'm at home. It's just my opportunity to blast through all of my admin, inbox, that type of thing. so yeah, it's a little bit mad. But I have noticed of late, I've had many more subscribers join me on my channel, so really welcome to everybody who's new here. I really appreciate it. My subscriber count, not that I really watch it, I just happen to notice it more as it's climbed quickly over the last month or so. So welcome new people, it's really good to have you here. I hope you enjoy some of the content that I upload. I try to keep it as varied as possible, and I've been trying some new things of late which I hope people like. It's, you know, with the vlogs and things like that, although, you know, I haven't done one for a couple of weeks. But yeah, I mean, this has just unfortunately gone by a little bit. So obviously I wanted to get a stitch with me done with my El Bessie stand, because the last a couple of things I've done like this have been diamond painting, so I did want to make sure I keep the stitch with me's going. So this should help, and obviously it gives me a chance to chat and give you a bit of an update. I also, over the weekend, picked up some Christmas decorations and things like that, so I do want to share that haul with you, mostly from the range, a couple of things from Matalan, but it really was mostly from the range. And I had some gift vouchers for the range that had been bought for me, oh god, I can't even remember when, a long time ago. And I also converted some of the bonus points that I'd been given from work to vouchers, so I was able to go and get some really nice things for Christmas that I probably wouldn't have done otherwise. So I'll share all of that with you, because I'm sitting in my kitchen area now, my kitchen diner sitting area, and there will be a Christmas tree going up here this year, so I'll be having 2 big trees and my other spindly tree in the hallway, which I'll show you as I put it up. So I am planning on probably the weekend filming what I bought from the range for Christmas, or, you know, use vouchers for, etc. I will be doing, oh, I've put in a stitch in there that shouldn't be there, let me just back it up. I'm not really concentrating. Hang on a minute, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, yes, we're on. Then I do have another app type video to upload about getting these big charts into GoodNotes, and I found a way of doing it. Teresa Little Stitcher uploaded a video recently showing how she scans and uses a scanner to get patterns in, which is what I've done to get this one into good notes and what I've historically used. But then what do you do when you've got a supersized pattern like the full-size Mirabilias and perhaps you don't have a scanner? I have a way. I found a way, so I'm going to do an upload of that over the next week or so when I get, you know, all of this put straight from London. So there will be that coming. I will be showing you my stash, my haul from the range for Christmas presents, Christmas decorations, and then we'll probably be not far off Christmas, and I will be doing Vlogmas this year. I've had a few requests to share, you know, things like putting up my tree, you know, the decorations in the house and things like that. A few people have asked me to do that, and I was planning on doing Vlogmas. I don't know how frequently I'll do it. It won't be every day to the run-up of Christmas. It definitely won't be that, because I won't have enough to show you, plus I'm still working, so it won't work like that. So, but you know, there'll be, I don't know, maybe every weekend plus the odd one during the week. Plus I'll still be doing all of the other stuff I would do, like stitch with me, diamond paint with me, things like that. Anyway, I'll be showing you my end of November upload. I'll probably be doing a plans video for next year. You know, all of this is going to still happen regardless anyway, but it's just the extra bonus stuff that I'm be showing you. So I will be doing things like that around Christmas and as for the build up to Christmas. The other thing I'll also share with you as well is, as you know from my last vlog, I am going to decorate my living room. So I've already got my wallpaper. I need to buy a new carpet in there. I'm keeping the fireplace, I'm not changing the fire. So it's just going to be a bit of a makeover really in there for Christmas. Well, because it needs doing, because I've lived here for 8 years and I haven't really decorated very much. So I do need to give the house a bit of love back, seeing as though it's given me it for quite a while. So I'll show you all of the progress of that as well. So there'll be plenty coming over the next few weeks. It's just been a little bit dry through November while I've been incredibly busy, so apologies for that. I will start making amends. I'm also behind very much so with my comments as well. I haven't replied to the comments in my last 2 videos, so sorry. I will come back to you. As I said, I always will give people a personal reply to comments that are left. As I said, my channel's still small. I still feel as though I want to do that for people. You know, if you've taken the time to write to me personally, then I'm going to take the time to write back to you. So I will get round to all of that over the next couple of days. If I get a tiny bit of downtime in the hotel room tonight, I'll do it, and over the next few days you'll hear back from me. So just a little apology from me on that matter. Yeah, so there we are. So that's my plans for, I guess, through to the new year anyway, at least. So there'll be a lot of stuff coming from the channel, all different types of things from me, crafting, home decor, Christmas, uploads, updates, stitch with me's, diamond paint with me's, all sorts of different things. So I will try and create some decent content. With Vlogmas, it's one of those. I'd love to do the run-up or the 12 days of Christmas before Christmas. I'd love to do all of that, but I just don't want to do it for the sake of it and not have anything good to show you. I don't want to do that with content just for the sake of putting things out there. I want it to be of value for you. So we'll go with the flow on that one. There probably won't be, you know, committed days of the week that I upload, but I'll do as much as I can. So talking about Christmas, I've organised my Christmas team evening. So we are, as I said, we're staying in Leeds. So this is the second week of December we're down now. We're staying in Leeds. We are having a really nice meal with drinks together, but I've booked us an activity to do before that. Have any of you done escape rooms before? Just out of curiosity. So we're doing an escape room, and it's in Leeds, and apparently they have some of the best escape rooms in the UK. It's called, what's it called? TikTok? Oh, I don't know. So basically you've got to get out of whatever environment you're in within an hour. You've got an hour to get out of the room. So we're doing this. So I'm online. So if you think back to my Halloween tag and how useless I am with anything remotely scary. I mean, I can't even watch a horror thing, never mind anything else. I've booked us 2, and they both sound almost as bad as each other. So because there's 10 of us, including me, we've had to split into 2 groups of 5, because the maximum they can take in each of these rooms is 6. So there's 2 groups of 5. One group of 5 will go into one called the Asylum, which is horror. So if any of you have been to Leeds and if you've done these, please comment and let me know if they are really, really bad, because I haven't looked for any reviews yet on it. I'd love to know what people's thoughts are on how horrific it is, because if my team realise that I'm frightened of anything spooky, which one of them already knows and has already threatened me that he's going to make sure that he manipulates me into that room somehow just to watch me panic, I think, and be able to laugh at me. I mean, who doesn't want to do that to the boss? Let me know if it's as bad as what I think it might be. So the Asylum is horror, and then the other room I've booked is called the Forgotten Tomb, which doesn't sound as good either. So that's probably going to be really dark, dingy. I think aesthetically these rooms are amazing in terms of what you get when you're in there and the setup and things like that. We haven't got actors in there with us, which is probably a blessing, because that cost more and we had a budget to stick to. So I don't have any actors in there, so nothing's gonna come flying out at us or attack us or anything like that within any of these, which is probably a blessing. So I was speaking to one of my team members and I told him that we were doing this. I told him a bit about what I'd booked, and he's done a horror one before. I'm just going to end my thread. Bear with me and tie this off, and I'll come back and rethread and continue the tail. Snap these stitches off and then I'll flip over. There we are. We just tie that off. So this stand is so easy to use. All I'm doing is just flipping the top over, so I can get to the work underneath, and I'm just gonna flip it down. It's so easy to use. It's freaking awesome. Right, I need to cut some thread. So while I'm doing that, I'll talk to you. So he's done, not in Leeds, but he's done an escape room before, and it was a horror one. And I think the theme was a little bit like a horror from the Saw type of thing. So there was all sorts of characters in it. I think her out of the ring, you know, the one I've told you about with the hair and stuff. I think she'll be in the Asylum as well. You know, the one that comes out of the TV and sucks the life out of you. I think she could potentially be in the Asylum, and there'll be some sort of graphic of her, whether it's through a CCTV camera or she's watching you through a screen. She's so gonna be in that. Anyway, she was in my team members one. And I said to him, I said, "Do you enjoy it?" He said, "Oh, it was awesome." He said, "I've still got the scar on my arm from that." And I'm like, "A scar on your arm? What the hell happened?" And he was like, "Oh, well, we were trying to get out of the room." He said, "We'd finished and we were coming out of the room. And as we were coming out of the room, this guy with a chainsaw ran after us through the door." He said, "And we got such a fright. He legged it through the door and ran into the door and cut his arm on the door as he was coming out." At which point I'm like, oh my God. So I don't have a disposition for spookiness. This is going to be like, I'm actually dreading it. There was an Alice in Wonderland theme one, and I wish I'd booked Alice in Wonderland now for me and there's only 2 females on my team, me and another. Not that I only hire men, it's just the way it's worked out at the minute with people moving around, and I've got a girl on maternity leave and things like that. So that's just the way it is at the minute, and we restructured, and I lost a lady rep to another territory above me earlier in the year. So it's not that I only pick men. There's only 2 of us, so we should have done Alice in Wonderland and let the guys scrap it out for the horror. Because I wish I'd done that now. I really do. But anyway, it is what it is, isn't it? So I'm sure I'll have a tale to tell you after we've done that during December as well. So that's really where I'm at. So it's been mad busy, absolutely mad busy. I'll be glad when this week's over, although you shouldn't wish your life away. So come Friday, I'll be prepping for my team's end of year reviews. I've had mine with my boss last week. It went really, really well. She's over the moon with me. I think I might get an exceeded expectations this year, which is good because it's just a good thing to get, because obviously I'm going to go for my senior leveling or senior promotion next year. So it all adds up to it. But yeah, too right, she should be pleased with me. I've flipping killed myself this year. And you know, when you look back, when you do your end of year reviews, if any of you guys do it, and you look back at what you've done and you're thinking, God, was that really just this year? It feels like I've crammed so much in. I can't believe it. I was absolutely gobsmacked at my own like achievements, not just achievements, but what I've actually done. It was quite something. So that's work and life updates. I think that's it. So if you want to stick around for a little bit longer, I'm aware I've been probably chatting away for quite a while already. I'm going to just do a little tag. It's not a big one, there's only 10 questions, and it's called the Perfect World YouTube tag. So every question opens up with, in the perfect world, and then you just get a couple of words. So the first one is I'd sleep, and then there's just a load of dashes. So in the perfect world, I'd sleep for at least 10 hours a night, or get a minimum of 8 hours in every day, because I don't right now, obviously because of work. I mean, for example, tomorrow morning I need to be on the road at 7 a.m. to travel 16 miles from Heathrow to get me to the venue where we're having this meeting, because the traffic on the M25 will be horrendous. So I'll be up about 5:30 in the morning, meaning, you know, if I don't get to bed particularly early, I might have only had, you know, six hours sleep, which is probably fairly normal for me during a working week. Because you don't want to go straight to bed, do you? You want to do something with your evening, don't you? And I like to stitch, so, you know, I want to get stitchy time in. So yeah, I'd get a good 8 hours sleep a night minimum in a perfect world. So the next question, in a perfect world, I'd never have to work again. But it would be from a positive thing. So I'd never have to work because I would win the lottery. And just putting it out to the universe, I'd win the lottery, which would mean myself, my family, my friends, all my loved ones were financially secure, and, you know, we could just enjoy life, you know, just kick back and enjoy life, and not have like the financial worries of, oh, if I spend that, I can't have this, can I afford that? Oh, I want a new carpet for my living room, can I afford it? I've bought wallpaper, oh, that's quite expensive, can I afford that? You know, all these things that you do constantly, but not to have that. I'm just going to channel, guys, to get to these other 3 stitches. I'm just going to tuck my white thread underneath a couple of other colour stitches, so I'm not carrying great chunks of white across the back of my work. I do this quite a lot. I showed you that on my vlog where I'd finished my my reindeer. I showed you the channel and stuff I do. Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, I love my job, I really do, but, you know, in a perfect ideal world, yeah, none of us would want to work, would we? We would all be financially secure without it. And so that's that one. So number 3, in the perfect world, I'd wear, well, matching underwear. No, that would be something. No, but I'd wear I don't know, and it's not, I'm not like a designer girl person, I'm not like that, so I'm just marking off stitches here. But I think it's more about I'd be able to wear smaller clothes, because that would mean I was slimmer. I think that's how I'd go. So I'd wear, you know, size 8 clothes, I think, because that would mean I was a lot slimmer. So yeah, I'd wear, or I'd be able to wear size 8 clothes, or 10 at the largest size, because obviously I can't remember the last time. God, my birds are going mental in the other room, sorry about this. I think they can hear me talking through the wall. You know, I can't remember the last time I managed to get my ass in a size 10. I really can't. It was probably when I was like a teenager, maybe. Possibly, I don't know. But that's what it would be. So, number 4, in the perfect world, my hair. So my hair, I would love long, thick hair. So my hair would be thick and long, rather than thin and short. So I do have fine hair. I have fine hair, but I have quite a lot of the fine hair, but I would like more of the fine hair, especially around the front. It's like, my God, I've got so much hair on the back of my head. Seriously. And then it's so fine around the front near my face. It just really knocks me. So my hair would be long and thick, but manageable, obviously, because you don't want long, thick hair that you can't do a thing with, but it would be manageable and it'd look healthy and glossy. You know, like how these hair models have it. It would be like that, in a nutshell. But it's not. It's dry, damaged, short, fine hair. But you know, you can't have it all, can you? But some people do. Anyway, let me just thread this needle again. And we'll start again. So in the perfect world, my kids. Now I don't have kids. I don't know whether I can answer that one, because I don't have them. But I suppose if I did, my kids would be well behaved, they'd be respectful, they'd be just good human beings. Do you know what I mean? They'd be good contributors. They would just be like decent kids. I think now in life I'm too far gone. I mean, technically I could still have kids, but you know, I don't feel right now as though I'm severely missing out. But because what you don't know, you don't miss, do you? And you know, I often speak to people who have kids, and yeah, they say they make such a massive difference to the life. The majority do, but there's some who say, well, you know, if we could do it again, maybe we wouldn't. I don't know. I guess it's a personal thing, isn't it? But you don't miss what you haven't had. I think when I get older and I'm decrepit and I need people to look after me and I end up in a care home, then I wish I had had kids. Or when I need somebody to like bury me or cremate me as I'm planning on being, and you know, carrying out my last wishes. I mean, I'm sure I do have friends and other people who can do that, but you know, not to have your kids do that for you. But you don't know where life will take you, and you know, there's still, you know, I'm single. I've been single for just over a year now. There is a possibility I will meet somebody who the likelihood is at my age now will have kids already. So I may inherit kids somewhere along the lines, because obviously most relationships that I've been in, the guys have had kids. So it's unusual as you get that little bit older to find people who don't. So I may end up inheriting them yet, and then I'll be able to tell you what I think of them, really, and whether or not I regret not having my own at that point. But yeah, it's still a high possibility, isn't it? But maybe not biologically mine. So in the perfect world, my house, I would say, would be permanently clean. I love my house as it is, and I wouldn't want a bigger house. I'm not about that. I'm not about status and houses and flashy cars or anything like that. I'm just not. I always wanted to be in a position where I wasn't dependent on a person in life. I always wanted to be self-sufficient, and I think I've achieved that, and you know, fingers crossed, that it remains like that. So I never wanted to be in a situation where I had to stay with, you know, an unhappy marriage and not be able to exit it because I was financially bound or needed that person to buy me food or clothes or put a roof over my head. And I have managed to do that. I have managed to be independent, and that's probably been a negative thing as well, because even when I was married and it didn't work out very well and I knew very quickly that it had been a mistake, I could extricate myself from that really quickly. And had that not been the case, you know, I may still have been with him, and, you know, maybe we would have worked through stuff and worked it out and it would have been okay. I mean, who knows? But I didn't have to stay. I didn't have to stay and put up with it, and I didn't. I chose not to. So that's always been my mantra. So my house would be cleaner or permanently clean. You know, if there was a magic spell you could wave and it would just be nice and sparkly all of the time, that would be amazing, because I am a clean person. So my house is clean, but it's not always tidy. I think that's the one thing I will say. I'm not the tidiest person in the world. So if it could be clean and tidy, I'd be happy with that. So in the perfect world, my car. So my car, I would like a self-driving car, and I know they're a possibility in the future. So there's nothing wrong with the car I've got. I don't want, I mean, apart from a DB9, an Aston Martin DB9, which I'm not going to get, am I? So apart from that, I would just like a car that would drive itself. So like this evening, for example, I'm going to drive to Heathrow, which is about 4 hours down the road for me. That's 4 hours of dead time for me sitting behind the wheel. And yeah, I'll put an audio book on. So I'm listening to the latest Robert Galbraith one, which is written by J.K. Rowling. What's it called? Lethal White? Or something like that I'm listening to. I've just started it, so it's 20 hours long. It'll get me there and back, and then some in between to finish over the weekend while I maybe diamond paint or something. So, you know, I'm going to listen to that on the way down in the car. But yeah, it'd be nice if we could drive itself, so I could listen to that and Stitch at the same time, wouldn't it? Wouldn't that be cool? I don't know whether our company would ever buy us those, but it would be nice. We'd get so much more productivity out of the team, wouldn't we, if they could do all of their admin and things like that while they were moving from appointment to appointment. Yeah, it would be good. So yeah, I'd like a self-driving car. Right, there's only a couple more now. So in the perfect world, I'd live. Ooh, where would I live? I'd like to live. There's a couple of places I'd like to live. So either or in New Zealand. I'd love to live somewhere completely different. So I'd live in New Zealand, or I'd live in Australia, or I'd live in America. So they're the places. Obviously I've been to America a few times. In terms of location, ooh, I'm not 100% sure. I've visited some awesome places, but probably more so the West Coast I'd go to. So I've done a lot of the East Coast, so yeah, Boston. Where else have I been over there? Never been to New York, but I've been to Atlanta. That's more middle though, isn't it? I've been to, so Boston. Oh my God, I've been to Miami, Florida. What else is over there where I've been to? Oh, I can't remember off the top of my head. Chicago. Yeah, I've been there. I really liked on the West Coast, San Francisco and LA. So somewhere like that perhaps. I'd like to live. Not that there's anything wrong with the UK, it's just, I don't know, our climate's not amazing always, is it? So we're into that wet, blash time of year now where everything's grey, miserable, it's blowing a hoolie outside, so it's really windy. It's not a pleasant day at all, and then obviously I'm going to get on the road tonight, so the driving conditions won't be fabulous. Yeah, it's a time of year, isn't it? So yeah, I'd live New Zealand, Australia, or the west coast of the US. Yeah, that's where I'd go. Also, the lady who was overdoing our training course, she lives in Las Vegas. She lives in Las Vegas. And apparently, I don't know, I guess this is true because she said so, they either have no tax over there, they don't pay tax, or it's a really reduced rate of tax. Now, anybody in Vegas or been to Vegas or an American will know this. Is that true? And if so, is it tax-free? Or, you know, how much is the reduction? Because obviously to go to Vegas and not pay tax would be another possibility. I'd like that, rather than the amount that I pay. It's eye-wateringly horrible, like everybody else, isn't it? It just takes the mick, really, when we work so hard and the government takes so much. Anyway, let's not get political. So in the perfect world, I'd eat anything I wanted to and not gain weight. So I could shovel my face with Krispy Kreme donuts and never get fat. I could eat, you name it, anything I wanted to eat and not get fat. That would be a perfect world, wouldn't it? Or not just not get fat, but not have any associated health conditions, like if I ate loads of sweets, I wouldn't become diabetic or anything like that, do you know what I mean? Or I wouldn't, affect my heart or internal organs like heart, liver and things like that by being eaten as much of like fatty food or unhealthy food as I wanted to. But yeah, that would be it. I'd be able to eat anything I like, but remain healthy and not get fatter. Wouldn't that be cool? And then finally, okay, in the perfect world, my significant other right, so my significant other would be the polar opposite of every other significant other I've had in my life up to now. So let's break this down a little bit. I am not lucky in relationships at all, and I could do a whole stitch with me around that with you and chat to you about it. I don't know what it is about me and men, but I always pick difficult people, and I don't know whether it's because I like the challenge of trying to tame them or convert them, but you can't change people, and I've learned this. It's taken me over 40 years to learn. A leopard can't change its spots. It can try for you for a little while, but then, like this other stuff that we've done in terms of theory of people, they will eventually resort to type. And whatever their type is, they'll just go back to it, either under threat or pressure, or just because they can't maintain the new persona. So, God, my significant other would just be an easygoing, kind, fun-loving, spontaneous person. That's all I would want in life. It really is. And somebody who really cared about me and my needs. Not above and beyond theirs, because I don't think anybody should ever do that, but it was just a genuinely kind and nice person. And I think as I've got older, that trait in somebody is something that I do really, or those traits would admire, and it's hard because there's not many people actually out there who are like that. They're just not. A lot of people have agendas and things like that, and it just, I don't know, but yeah, there would just be genuinely nice people. Yeah, in an ideal world, or in a perfect world. But that's the tag anyway. I hope you enjoyed that. I didn't want to go too festive at this point because it's not Christmas yet, and obviously I've done Halloween, I've done autumn, but we're not down that route yet, are we? It's not Christmas and we're not into the season of goodwill yet, are we? So I didn't want to go too early, but that will come. We'll do something like that through December with either a diamond paint with me or another stitch with me, depending on what I'm doing. But I'm going to call it a day, guys. I hope that's okay. It's been really nice to check in and just chat with you a little bit, because I felt a bit disconnected from FlossTube and YouTube over the last couple of weeks with me being so busy. So I just wanted to touch base, let you know I'm still here. I am still here. Well, not always physically here, but I'm still around, still doing well. So I'm going to pack this up and then return back to my slide PowerPoint, and then get myself organised to head back to London in about 4 or 5 hours. Well, 4 hours, because it's now 1:15. So yeah, I'm gonna love you and leave you. Take care, guys, and I will catch you probably over the weekend or into the early part of next week. Take care. Bye bye.